paid. Encourage whole game. He's been to every one of them, so he came here to listen to the speaker talk. All right.
Another visitor, thank you. Alfredo, this is your visitor here.
Hello, good morning. My name is Dustin Smith. I'm a realtor in Max United here off Kildare Farm Road. Focused primarily on investment real estate and residential. Secondary loans. So it's a privilege to be here this morning.
So don't forget the dimensional lines and pockets on the table. Anybody having happy dollars today? Charlie, did you do happy dollars? Right.
Good to be back from Jonathan. Y'all miss me. Eric's got a happy dollar.
This is $1. Try to give the little Lawrence to come out of retirement, take over the parking and stuff. This is get Bill LaFleur to come out of retirement and take over the parking and stay there. It used to run beautifully when this organization ran it. This year is the worst ever. We actually got there, couldn't park, and ended up driving home.
Yeah, Johnny wants me to say I ended up paying $40, which was awesome. I'm embarrassed that I did that. So yes, no. Johnny and I have one. We are doing our fourth annual Halloween trail at our farm this year. Where's the $5 to give you? Okay. And anybody with kids, if you are interested, it's free. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. this Saturday. You just run around the trail in the loops that we make, and we've got kind of some spooky things and some fun candy, and it's the 4th year we've done it. So I have a lot of y'all's emails, but if you have kids and you're interested, please give me your email. We want more people to come out.
Here's one. Here's one. Cindy.
So it's a little late on Saturday. It was beautiful weather. We had the Alpha Points and Merriman's Realty, and I sponsored the dog dress-up costume contest. We ended up postponing it to 3. We had this beautiful, big white, whatever those big mountain dogs are, and it was a Samoa, so they were really cute. We're also going to be at Toys for Tots drop-off from the 23rd of October to November 20th at my office at 711 Harvey. So we'll have a box there. We're going to hopefully do a 5th meeting this month. Right?
Thank you. Three makeups down there. One in the Roswell Club, Georgia Rotary. I had 200 members. The mayor was the speaker. He's also a member. It was an amazing experience.
My happy dollar is that the Wolf is not playing football this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. So upcoming meetings, next week we have John Tesh, who is from Rotary International. He's our area's major gifts coordinator, and he's gonna talk to us about all things foundation. So that'll be a really interesting talk. I think Tom Hacker had no speakers cancel on him last year. So this is the 3rd that we've had this year. So we're looking for a speaker for the 30th, but we'll get, it'll be a great speaker, I'm sure. Then we have our own corner who's going to talk to us about Veterans Affairs the Monday before Veterans Day. So really looking forward to that. And then the next week, we're going to continue the veterans theme, and we're going to have Morgan Robertson from Stop Soldier Suicide talk to us on the 13th. Very exciting news. Harrison and wife welcomed Dallas Marjorie Turner last Monday, the 11th. She was 8 pounds, 3 ounces, 8 inches long, and as he says, future Rotarian, maybe the youngest future Rotarian out there. So, his email is on DAC phone number, so send him, congratulations. He says mom and baby are doing great, and they're gonna enjoy the next few weeks, taking care of Dallas. So, great news and beautiful baby. Okay, Dominican Republic, project trip, that is a district grant that was awarded that Raleigh has, is a part of. We were part of supporting that district grant. They are looking for 30 to 40 Rotarians from District 7710 to go to the Dominican Republic in March of 2024. There's going to be an interest meeting October 25th down in Cary to learn more about cost, logistics, and expectations for that trip. So if you're at all interested, definitely plan to attend that meeting. In this week's bulletin is the email for Rick Carnuga, who is the one coordinating that. So get back with them, and I really recommend going to that if you were at all interested in that trip. Hey, we're not going to know some neighbor because we're going to focus on a big fundraising report in a minute. But before that, Tommy Hellifer got some raffle business to take care of. And as he's coming up here, last week we have those watermelons, just 2 weeks ago, we have those watermelons, and y'all bought those, purchased them as he left, and all those proceeds are going to go into polio now. We raised $101, thank you guys, that's going to be donated to in polio, so thank you all very much. All right, Tommy.
It's good that the watermelons went so well, the raffle not as much. The raffle goes to support international travel for Rotary students. So the Rotary student who wins this week's raffle, it's going to exotic. We'll pull a winner here, get your tickets out. You've got 800-2442. What?
Yeah. We are.
Congratulations on winning. First week back in a while you win. Okay, we are ready. Leslie, big fundraising report. So tomorrow.
Okay, hi. I was trying to get your attention. Did I get it? Yeah, okay, great. So you know that on November 11th, Veterans Day, we are having an event at John Kate's farm on Cane Creek. Is that right? Did I say it right?
That's good, yeah.
Okay. And that is our biggest fundraiser of the year, which allows us to make the impact that we do in this community. So what I'm saying is, please be a part of it. So far, these are our amazing sponsors. One of them, Kate's Farm and Cane Creek, which is obviously our host. John Cates, Transon, his company, and Charles Upshaw. So let's give them a round of applause there. And then gold sponsor, Jean-Luc Dubois, Mutual American Financial. And silver sponsors, Mary Moss of Moss and Ross, and Mr. and Mrs. Pete Ciccone and Jim Dorset. And we still have many sponsorships that they on just for you. Your name's not on this list, it will be soon. So this is one way you can get involved. Now, secondly, we're looking for auction items. Oh, how exciting. And these are some of the auction items we have so far. Thank you, Frank McNally, who is obviously with it. Mary Moss is putting together a basket. Suki, who you've seen her around the last couple of meetings, taking some photos, she got the photography package, and the vault, Raleigh and Josh Freed, and Sanker Foley. Oh, Tom Packer is doing a double. He's gonna, reinvigorate his golf game for y'all, because it went so well in the spring, and also maybe an herb package. Stay tuned. So that's very exciting. So if you haven't heard from a member of the fundraising committee yet, You will. And we're gonna be asking you, and Jennifer Rodriguez has also given a package, sorry, we just did late breaking news for the stretching at Revitaflex. Yes, that's her new business, Revitaflex. So, stretch, everybody stretch. I mean, it's a good time, anytime to stretch, right? So now that you've stretched your body, stretch your muscles to ways that you will enjoy this amazing event. 3 to 6 on Veterans Day, 11/11. It's benefiting not only all of our community that we give grants to, the Peace Fellowship and Veterans Life Center. So we need your help. I might have said that already. We need everyone to RSVP as soon as possible because we're trying to get all the head count and all the food and the beverages sorted out. And we need your creative ideas. Let's say, for example, Johnny, our guest, is an artist. And in his free time, he does art. He makes art. Obviously, I'm not an artist because I can't even say how you make art. So he paints something, right? He could donate that painting to this auction. So it's not something dramatic. Just be somebody that you know, or somebody that's you, that has something that would be worthwhile for auctioning. So 11/11, you will be hearing from us because this is how we do service above self. Thank you.
And thank you, Leslie. And as you've heard, we need your RSVPs soon. Tickets are $50 per person, and there's going to be fantastic food, barbecue, beer and wine, and there's going to be some great yard games as well. So $50 per person. Children under 12 get in free. So this is family friendly event. Please come out. So service time, and I believe we're going to have Richard Avery, who is dialed in, is going to do a service.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. How are y'all today? Just give a couple of service projects updates here, or 2 in October. First is the Connected for a Cure. That's Coastal Federal Credit Union and the American Cancer Society have partnered for an event at Coastal Credit Union Midtown Park in North Hills from 10 to 2. And we're looking for, it is a health and wellness fair. And we're looking for some volunteers to help with the exercise stations and some of the other activities. And there's going to be music and activities and food trucks. And we're looking for 5 more volunteers to serve as ambassadors and help with some of the activities. It's a 9:30 to 1 commitment. I appreciate Shake and her son already signing up. And again, this is a low lift, fun event to promote financial wellness and health. And our other event will be coming up on, well, first of all, if there's a link on the email newsletter, you can sign up, or you can just contact me and I'll get you signed up. But again, that's this Saturday and from 9:30 to 1. And our other project is on the 28th. It's the Trick or Trunk at Sanford Road Community Center. This event's from 5 to 7, and we're looking for Rotarians who can bring their vehicles, decorate them, and hand candy out to kids. There's also a need for candy donation. So if any of y'all can't make it that next Saturday, the 28th, I encourage you the next Rotary meeting, please bring a bag of candy, and we'll, if everybody could bring just at least one bag, we're at the store this week, and I'll collect them all and bring them to the event. If you would like to be out there and provide a vehicle to decorate and bring out, please email me or Carrie, and we'll get us on the list. And then I'll have our November project to announce next week. We're going to be partnering with the Food Bank of Eastern North Carolina and be doing a Saturday morning project with them. So again, thank you for all who participate. I want to give a special shout out to Jennifer Rodriguez. She's really helped me orchestrate the events, and she's been present at all these events. So we just want to give her a special shout out. thank you very much, and thank you for the privilege of your time. I'm back to you, Carrie.
Thank you, Richard. So two great events coming up this weekend and the next weekend. And as Richard said, bring a bag of candy for our Monday, the 23rd meeting. And we'll use that for the trunk or treat. Donnie, you and I are gonna be out there with our Jeep. We can decorate that. So it'll be fun. Hey, Richard Watkins and Jessica Cunningham, did y'all make your way to the front? Richard has a new gin request for tomorrow.
I'm going first.
You're going first. Yeah.
All right, what's your time doing today? You're all right, so? Okay, you're on the spot, I guess you're eating, the food is good, so I guess you're doing all right. It's so great to see so many kids, and children coming here and the celebration of the birth of a new Rotarian. There's so many ways to get involved, you don't have to wait until you're old like me to get involved. You have to interact, which is Rotary at the high school level. We made significant advancements on that, and we are currently having conversations with the homeschool experience as they look to start their very own Interact Club. Now that's high school. College is Rotary, and we support the Rotary Club at NC State University. And tomorrow, they have a huge event in which they are going to focus on professional development and focus on giving students at NC State opportunities to advance their careers and gain valuable experience. I'm going to be supporting them tomorrow at the event. And now, if you're interested, please feel free to shoot me an email or call me before I leave, because I need all the help in the world. Last but not least, I hear a lot of people giving generous shout outs, and it scares me to death because I need her to repeat every time I hear somebody else give her a shout out. But it's spread too thin because we are participating in an exchange program. And so we have Jennifer Shea reviewing applicants, and we'll be a coordinator or a counselor for that event. So if you're interested in making sure that Rotary has an eye forward on the generation, please contact me, Richard Watkins. I'm the chair. Thank you all so very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Richard. You know, very passionate about new generations, and that is a great way to ensure future leadership of our wonderful organization. So up next, we have an exciting moment by Jessica Cunningham.
Gary. Today we have a second reading for Daniel Raleigh, who is sponsored by Surrey Roberts. So you come up here. And Daniel works with the Ward Neighborhood Health Center. Daniel, tell us what excites you about it.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that really excites me about joining Rotary is that the mission really aligns with my personal mission and beliefs. And I've been doing nonprofit leadership for my entire career and really focusing on reaching out to our communities and serving other people. I think that Rotary is an amazing organization that aligns with the things that I've been doing with my career. And so I'm excited to join with other people and share that.
We have a service social coming up this on Thursday the 26th, so not this Thursday, the following Thursday from 5:30 to 7 at Bowstring Pizza and Brewery. That's over Wake Forest, yeah.
Wake Forest Road.
Wake Forest Road. Yeah.
We're going to the contract. Thank you, Jessica. If you have not met Daniel yet, definitely go chat with him. I don't know, a lot of y'all were here when Surrey, he first came again as a guest with his sponsor, Surrey Roberts. Surrey from memory was amazing. Read his bio, recited his bio, and it is really impressive. So go meet Daniel. Ask him about all the amazing work he's done throughout the work. He has definitely got it hard for service. And then as Jessica mentioned, Bow Street Pizza, that is on Wake Forest Road, very close to downtown, right? Yeah, so come out next Thursday, and you heard Cindy, Roberts say that we'll be collecting toys for tots, so not snacks this time, y'all have done such a great job bringing snacks, they're overflowing with them. So toys for tots, and we'll coordinate getting those to Cindy, and then, we have another toys for tots in December, right? For winter.
Yes.
Yes, so, Toys for Tots #1, and Cindy's gonna take care of that, and we'll have one in our holiday kitchen. Great program. So with that, I believe we have no birthdays, but we do have a big anniversary, Randy and Pam Frazier. It is 45, right? So big congratulations. Happy anniversary. Okay. It is time for our speaker, and Francie, I'm gonna read your bio, we're gonna show video as you come up here, and then we'll come into your presentation. Francie is a Durham resident and alumna of Duke University, where we were talking before the meeting, she played tennis for Duke. Francie brings a wealth of business development and sports marketing experience to the North Carolina Courage and North Carolina FC, as well as a valuable perspective on sponsorships and relationship building. Before taking the role of club president, Francie served as the chief executive officer of Sports Systems, a sports technology company, senior vice president of sports and entertainment marketing at JP Morgan Chase, which followed a similar role to that of Wells Fargo. Gottsegen has also worked at notable professional sports organizations, including the PGA of America, the National Basketball Association, and Major League Soccer. As club president, Francie leads business operations, including revenue generation, marketing, communications, broadcasting, operations, finance, and human resources. She also serves on the board of NCFCU, the United Soccer League, the Raleigh Chamber, the Greater Raleigh Sports Alliance, and the North Carolina Sports Leadership Council. So can you please join me in welcoming Francie to the podium? You just want to start?
I would be facing similar technological challenges if I were trying to put that up on the screen myself, but I'll just go ahead and get started. So, well, thank you, Carrie, for the introduction, and thank you all for having me here today. I joined the North Carolina Football Club, which owns and operates two teams, North Carolina Courage and the North Carolina FC, almost 2 years ago. It'll be January, it'll be 2 years, my 2-year anniversary. It's been quite a ride so it's definitely been an interesting couple of years. Out of curiosity, show of hands, how many of y'all have ever been to a North Carolina Courage match? Okay, and how about a North Carolina FC match? Okay, we got a lot of work to do. If I have the honor of speaking with you all again at some point next year, I would love to see all of those hands raised. And I think there's a lot that we're doing in the community that will help us together, but we definitely have a work on this. So today I'm going to talk about the Courage and NCFC, but before going there, I'm going to take a little bit of a higher higher view, and talk a little bit about just the state of soccer in America, and then a bit more about soccer in the triangle, and then talk about women's soccer and encourage men's soccer and NCFC, and then the future of soccer in this area, and what's next for us for the season, which is nearing its end. Okay. From a participation standpoint, as you can see here, the numbers are pretty staggering. Soccer is booming as a sport, and not just globally, but here within the United States as well. Here you can see over 13 million participants playing soccer on an annual basis, and it's not just youth; it's a lot of adults too. You see here about half of that are youth, but there are also a lot of adults that are participating, and also you can see too that soccer is really overtaking other sports in terms of the growth. You see the double-digit growth in soccer over the past 15 or so years as compared to single-digit growth, if not negative growth for some of the other sports like basketball and football. So soccer is really booming from a participation standpoint. You can see that it's roughly a 50-50 split between male and female participants. From a fan perspective too, the numbers are staggering, and I'll get into that a little bit more in talking about the NWSL and the USL. But from a demographic perspective, you can see that it skews very young, on roughly 80%, if you can read that chart, which I cannot, but about 80% of participants are between the ages of 18 and 44. It's also a very ethnically diverse sport in terms of both fans as well as participants. And soccer is only going to continue to grow here in America as well as around the world. On the heels of the Women's World Cup, which took place in Australia and New Zealand this past summer, we have a lot of global competition coming up in the United States over the next years, and that's only going to help to perpetuate the growth of the sport here in the States. In 2024, we have a tournament called Copa America, which is a competition between 2 of the 6 federations, which make up FIFA, which is the global governing body of the sport of soccer. The following year, in 2025, we have the FIFA Club World Cup, which is a competition between all of the federations playing for their clubs as opposed to playing for their countries. And then in 2026, we have the Men's World Cup, which is, I think everybody's familiar with what the World Cup is, one of the largest global competitions in the world. We're also hopeful that we will be hosting the Women's World Cup in 2027. The United States and Mexico having joint bid on that, we should know in May of next year for the opportunity to host the Women's World Cup in 2027. Then, of course, we have the Olympic Games coming up in LA in 2028. Soccer will be a big part of that as well. So a lot of growth of soccer. There's all these different events coming up, and we're really going to help to continue to grow the sport. And now looking more close to home. So within the triangle, this is a hotbed of soccer. There's a long history of soccer here, and there's a lot of soccer activity, both from a participation standpoint as well as from an event standpoint. And we look at ourselves as really the home of soccer in the United States. And in Wake Med Soccer Park alone, in addition to the 2 pro teams that play there, the Purge and NCFC, we also host a number of other events along with the town of Cary. The NCAA championships in soccer as well as lacrosse, the ACC championships as well. There was an event called the soccer tournament that some of you might be familiar with that was played there earlier this summer. About 40,000 fans showed up over 4 days. It was a 32-team competition, but it's an amateur competition, but former players from the likes of West Ham and other very notable teams around the world. And it's a winner-take-all $1 million prize. So it's a very, very popular tournament. They want to come back for multiple years. The NCAAs want to come back and sign long-term contracts. So everybody's really embedded with soccer in this community. And it's a great facility too, Wake Med Soccer Park. So that's part of the reason. The club also has hosted international friendlies over the years. Just this past year, our men's team played against Sunderland AFC. And we also hosted an open training for Wrexham and Chelsea the day before they played their match at Keenan Stadium at UNC Chapel Hill. In the future, there will be a lot more international competitions that we as a club will be bringing to further the sport of soccer within our community and provide different opportunities for different members of the community, different nationalities within the community. And like I said before, there's a long history of soccer here, and as I do, this is a little bit hard for me to say, but you would see women's soccer really is a lot of the reason why soccer is so popular in this community. I have to say, it's the most storied program in the history of college sport, and I don't see there being any college program that would ever be able to match it. Winning 2/3 of all the ACC championships, over half of the NCAA championships. It just doesn't happen, and Anson Doris has done an incredible job of building that program and continuing to run it for over 40 years now. And it's not just about the events that are being hosted here, it's also about the participants. So NCFC Youth is the youth organization that we are aligned with over 16,000 kids that participate on an annual basis. It's the largest youth organization in the country. You can see the makeup here. It's about 63% males, 37% females, so it's skewed a little bit differently than the general population of soccer fans that I shared with you earlier today. It also skews young, as you would expect. But NCFC Youth isn't the only youth soccer organization around. There are youth soccer organizations all over the country. As a matter of fact, within a 100-mile radius of Wakeman Soccer Park, 33 other youth organizations and 75,000 kids within the state of North Carolina participate in a youth soccer organization. You start to multiply that number across the country, it's a very, very large number of kids that participate. But it isn't just kids, it's adults as well. Like I said before, there's an organization called TASSA, Triangle Adult Soccer League, which is the young adult soccer league in the Southeast with over 4,000 participants. And there's also quite a few Hispanic leagues as well, about 12 of those with almost 2,500 participants. So again, it's not just youth, but it's also adults that are participating in soccer. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about women's soccer in America, and then I'll dive into the Courage and CFC, which I know you all are eagerly waiting to hear about. But this quote really jumped out at me. I think I could read it between the lines here. The rising tide of soccer in America and the explosion of interest in women's athletics are combining to create an environment of fast growth around women's soccer. What really jumps out to me here is we're kind of at this confluence of these two statements. So women's athletics is booming, right? You got the WNBA right now, and they're in the middle of their finals. They just announced last week that they're going to be expanding with another team in the Bay Area next year. They're going to be announcing other expansion teams. The LPGA is really taking off. They have a new commissioner that joined a couple of years ago, and the corporate support is really, really skyrocketing, which is allowing them to host more tournaments around the globe. Professional women's hockey league that just was recently announced. So there's a lot of growth in women's athletics, and then soccer is moving, like I said before. And so we're sort of at this confluence right now. We're in an incredible growth period for the sport, an amazing trajectory, which I'll touch on in a second. So the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League, is the name of the league that the North Carolina Courage play in. We're in our 11th season right now, and we truly have the best players in the world. We had 61 players participate in the World Cup this year, representing 16 different countries. So not only are we the best players, but it's a very international league as well. The Courage alone had 6 players participating, representing 4 different countries. So we have truly some of the best talent in the world. And the league, like I said, is just on this incredible trajectory. Just against every metric that we look at, the numbers are starting to skyrocket. Media rights, we're soon to be announcing in a couple of weeks, the league, a new deal, which is going to be easily 10, if not 15x what the current deal is worth. Sponsorship dollars are going way up. Brands are starting to see the importance and quite frankly, the value in investing in women's sports. Companies like Ally Financial is spending equal dollars investing in women's and men's sports media. We're starting to see more and more brands really understand the value and start to get much more invested in the sport. Attendance is way up. We have surpassed as a league the 1 million mark with 4 games remaining this season. Last year we did that at the end of the season, and that's a big milestone to hit 1 million fans in one season. Just to put it in perspective, it took Major League Soccer 20 years to get there, while it took us 10 years. And yes, we have Major League Soccer to thank for helping to grow the sport, but it's still a pretty big number to be able to hit as a league within 10 years. Social engagement, you would imagine that too is also ticking up. The one that really jumps out at me the most is expansion. So in 2022, we went from 10 teams to 12 teams. And in 24, we're going to be adding 2 new teams, one in Salt Lake City and one in the Bay Area. Recently announced we'll be adding another team in 2025 in Austin, and we'll be adding new teams over time. It's not just the number of teams that we're adding, it's what the expansion fees are. So the dollars that these teams are paying to participate, to become members of the league. We had about 38 different bids just to become members of the league for 2024. And like I said, we awarded those to Salt Lake City and the Bay Area. Bay Area is paying $53 million as an expansion fee just to be able to play in the league. That's about 10x what the 2 teams that joined in 2022 paid. So you can see the growth is it's just incredible. And it's not just what the teams are paying to play in the league or to enter the league. It's the additional investment that they're committing to. Bay Area has committed an additional $75 million on top of the expansion fee to invest in players, to invest in stadium, invest in all the things that can make them a great franchise. And they're not doing that just to keep up with what the other teams are doing. They're doing that to really continue to raise the bar so that as new teams enter the league, they're going to continue to get that much better. So it's really just an incredible time to be part of women's soccer. And like I said, the Women's World Cup this past summer, we're starting to ride that momentum, but we barely scratched the surface in terms of really realizing the full value that we're going to be able to that will significantly much from that. Now I'll talk a little bit about the Courage. We are the only professional women's sports team in North Carolina. Actually, in both North and South Carolina. Steve Mallow, some of you may know, is our owner. He purchased a team called the Western New York Flash back in 2016, and we started to play as the NC Courage in 2017 with a nod to what was the Carolina Courage, the team that played in a now defunct league called the WUSA back in the early 2000s. We're the most accomplished team in the history of the league. We've won more awards than any other team. We won the Challenge Cup trophy, which is an in-season tournament earlier this year. We're the only back-to-back ever champions of the Challenge Cup. We won championships our second and third years in the league. We won the Shield Award, which is awarded to the team with the best regular season record. We won that our first 3 years. So, like I said, we have more awards than any other team in the league, and we have the postseason ahead of us. We look forward to adding that list of accomplishments. And in the current season, so we just finished up our season yesterday. It was a very, very tight race to get to the playoffs. We made it. We did Washington Spirit last night, and we are in 3rd place to finish out the season after being picked to finish 12th at the very bottom of the table. So we had not a lot of high hopes for the season. At least the naysayers didn't have high hopes. We made a lot of changes to our roster in the off season. Some of those decisions that we made were not particularly popular with our fan base. We traded away some of our more popular players, perhaps some of our more well-known names, but we were very intentional in doing that because we wanted to make sure that we established a culture that was going to allow these girls to truly enjoy being with themselves, being with one another, to gel in the locker rooms. If they're gelling in the locker room, that's going to show on the field as well. That's what we're going to be paying off. So we're thrilled to be finished in 3rd place. We'll be hosting a quarterfinal match on Sunday, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And in addition to performing well on the pitch, we're also having a really great season off the field. We're always wanting to be selling out. We did have our first sellout last Saturday for a regular season home match. We had sold out one prior game before, which was a championship match in 2016. So our attendance numbers are starting to tick up. Our partnership support is starting to grow as well. You can see the growth here year over year, 12% and 17% respectively. We're also enhancing our game day experience. We made a lot of changes to the experience just coming into the season. Our stadium is a little bit dated, and we're having a lot of conversations about how we can improve that. But until we are able to have some more significant infrastructure upgrades, we're just making what I would consider to be some band-aid changes, but they've had some very positive feedback from fans over the past year. We survey our fans after every game. We have things that can continually be improved. And we've made a lot of different changes based on the feedback that we're hearing, and we're hearing very positive feedback from fans as a result. But there's always more that we can be doing. We can always do better. That's what we as organizations continue to strive to do. I'm going to now talk a little bit about men's soccer. So just to get a little sense of the landscape of the men, because it may not be as obvious perhaps as the one women's league that exists in the country. So Major League Soccer has been around since 1996, I believe, 94, 96, 96. Major League Soccer plays in what's called the first division, so that's the top tier of soccer. So it's the same level as the Premier League that many of you are familiar with. And it currently has 29 teams. There's a league called the United Soccer League, USL, which has two divisions in it. One is USL Championship, which is the second division, so the next tier down in terms of quality of play from MLS. And then the USL League One, which is the third division, which was just started a few years back in 2019. The North Carolina FC currently play in League One, we also, go back in time for a little bit. So the North Carolina FC was formerly known as the Carolina Railhawks, for those who may be familiar with that brand. That team started here back in 2006, and it played in USL, it played in NASL and other leagues over the years. Steve Malik bought the North Carolina FC, or bought the Railhawks, and we branded it as the North Carolina FC back in 2015, around the same time that he was making a bid to bring in an MLS franchise here, talks of the stadium and downtown South, and all of those things. So that was the timing of the rebrand. We moved down to USL League One back in 2021. And we announced just about 3 months ago that we're going to be moving back up to the USL Championship, which is a big deal. So quality of play is going to be that much better. You're going to see a nearly complete roster overhaul going into next season. So the competition is going to be that much greater. The announcement of moving back up to championship is very well received by the media and by fans. So we're really excited to be able to put on even better quality soccer and hopefully to also have a team that's going to be as well as, if not better than the teams performing this year. So in 2023, as with the women, the men are having a very good season. They were in first place for just about the entire season after finishing last year at the very bottom. We made a lot of changes to the roster. We brought in a lot of veteran players this year, and it's paid off on the field. We just finished the season on Saturday in second place. So we have a bye into the semifinals of the playoffs, which will be hosting at home on the 28th. So very positive season on the field, and also from an off-field perspective too. Again, similar with the Verge, our numbers are ticking up in terms of attendance. The game day experience is that much greater than it's been in the past. We're going to continue to improve that. Had a big focus on cultural growth for the men and the women, as well as the front office, and really establishing a culture that is striving to do it and be excellent, always striving to improve and be better. And that's starting to pay off, not just in the front office as well, but as well on the pitch for the teams. And the future of soccer in the Triangle, we expect that all the events that have been taking place in White Mets and the NCAA championships, like I said, they're wanting a long-term agreement with the town of Cary. Same with the ACC championship. The soccer tournament was hugely popular, really brought a lot of fans who otherwise wouldn't have known that White Mets Soccer Park even existed, brought them into our soccer ecosystem here in the Triangle. We'll be hosting many more international friendlies. We announced about a month or so ago that we'll be bringing two of the top teams in the Mexican League to play at Wake Med Soccer Park on March 22nd of next year. We'll soon be announcing some other matches, both for the men as well as for the women. So there's a lot of soccer activity as well as other activities taking place at Wake Med Soccer in the future. There's a lot of questions around the stadium, and I touched on that more briefly. So in order for us to remain competitive, I mentioned some of the investment that the NWSL teams are making into their clubs. In order for us to remain competitive, with some of them are starting to build new stadiums. We're out in Kansas City when we played them in the Challenge Cup semifinals earlier this year. They're building a soccer-specific stadium for women only. Those don't exist. It's the first one in the country, although I was told that Wake Med Soccer Park was initially built as a club, as a park just for the Carolina group. So maybe we were the original, but this is a state-of-the-art facility, and we're going to start to see more and more women's teams building their own training facilities just for their women's teams, building their own stadium. So in order for us to remain competitive, we're going to have to figure out a stadium solution, and we're working toward that. Downtown South, I mentioned before, if you are familiar, there were plans to build a stadium there if the MLS franchise were to come through. we're still having those conversations. We're also having conversations with the town of Cary about how can we improve the infrastructure in our facility. There's three main areas that we're focusing on. One, first and foremost, is the player experience. You know, they need to have state-of-the-art locker rooms and training facilities. And some teams have chefs that allow them to eat all of that. No, but in order for us to keep the best players here and bring in the best talent, we're going to need to remain competitive with those other markets. We're also focused on the weather. We can't fix the weather, but we can do things in the stadium to address the weather. It's because of the heat or because of the rain. There are things that we are talking about in the town of Cary to help improve from that perspective. And then also our premium areas. We have very little hospitality that we can offer to the local community. And that's another area that we're trying to solve for. Again, within the limitations of what we're working on, or what we're working with, but there are a number of significant upgrades that we're having conversations about. Nothing to share at this point in time, other than we're looking at all sorts of different scenarios to see what our long-term plan is going to be. And part of that too is the overall game day experience. You know, when you go to a sporting event now, you don't go just to experience what's happening on the field. You go to experience what's happening before the game. Is there an entertainment district nearby? You go and have a drink or a bite to eat before or after the game. So we're looking at solutions for that as well. And for those that are familiar with the Fenton development that opened about a year or so ago, we're partnering with Fenton. It's a mixed-use residential retail commercial complex with all sorts of restaurants and massive sports bar, called Sports and Social. That's a program of ours, which so happens to be a trail that goes through the woods from Fenton to the stadium. And we're just starting to brand what we're calling the Walk of the Woods. Like soccer, they call it March to the Match, where all the supporters march together and they can run to the chance. So that's what we're trying to replicate with the Walk of the Woods. So Fenton is helping us to create the game day experience that other venues that are in an entertainment district have. So that's also a big part of the movie to solve. And like I said, both of our teams made the playoffs, which I think is the first time ever that we've both been in the playoffs at the same time. So would love to have you all out to our games. The Courage are going to be playing a quarterfinal match against New York, and that takes place next Sunday, the 22nd. And I would love, Carrie, if I can work with you, I can send a link to discounted tickets. If you want to send that out to the group, that would be great. Especially, though I don't see the youngest Courage fan that I've been. Oh, you know, oh, that was him. Okay. Would love to see him out there as well. And then also North Carolina FC. Like I said, because we came in second place, we got a bye in the first round of the playoffs, so we'll be hosting a semifinal match on Saturday, October 28th in the evening. So would love to have you all out there. I'll also to Carrie, so she can pass them along. Thank you again for having me. I'm happy to field some questions if you have any.
MSL doesn't relegate down into the other leagues in the league that no, okay?
It does not. USL, so the question was about the promotion and relegation. So for those familiar with other soccer leagues around the world, there are different levels, the third division, second division, first, etc. And there's a thing called promotion and relegation. So if you finished at the top of the lower league, the third division, you be promoted up to the second division and vice versa. There is discussion within the USL of having promotion and relegation between the championship and League One divisions, but not MLS. Those are separate entities. And to me personally, in an ideal, that's what creates the excitement. It's not there's a lot of games with consequences as a result of that, but I don't, at least not in the near future, I don't foresee that happening between USL and MLS.
You guys do like season ticket style packages? What was it?
Do we do season ticket? Yes, is the answer. We actually just went on sale back in September with season tickets. We have a separate package for each team. And we include, for the women, there are 14 games that are included. So we have 13 regular season home games as well as a bonus match. And it'll likely be an international friendly, but we wanted to package that in, just to get a little something extra. And there's all sorts of different incentives. If you sign up by a certain time, you get free parking. You also get, as a season ticket member, there's all sorts of different benefits that you get around discounted merch and parking and different, I give a start, a pin, and I'm not scratching the surface, I should know this by heart, and I apologize that I don't. But, and then on the men's side, we have a similar package, I believe it's 16 for next year, based on the games that we're playing, but yeah, those are on sale now, and, yeah, love to chat with you about it.
Women's soccer salary compared to
It's a lot lower. The NWSL has a players association, and last year was the first year of a collective bargaining agreement. So there is a minimum guaranteed salary. It's up to about $38,000 a year, I believe. However, we're required to provide housing and other things that's, if you look at it holistically, would add to what that number is. But it's pretty low, but it is incredible that you're starting to see as the sports growing, and there's a lot of women's clubs that are affiliated with men's clubs, like a Man City and a Man United, Chelsea. Those teams have a lot of funding, and so we're starting to see that those women players are their salaries are starting to grow that much more. So again, in order to remain competitive, we're really having to step up our salaries. So we have some players that are making a lot more than that, and we have quite a few making their minimum. But I will say, in the USL League One, the minimum is even lower. This is the first year of CBA on the League One front, and those minimum salaries are pretty low. So it's really just when you get to that top tier in MLS and certainly European clubs, the numbers get to be significantly higher.
Thank you, because that question inspired what I was gonna say. I think one of the hard things about that, from somebody on the outside looking in, I would call myself a cute soccer fan. But from the outside looking in, it seems like men don't very good on the global stage, and our success in soccer seems to come from our women athletes. And so for me on the outside looking in, I'm like, why we invest in the winners? We don't. I mean, I like to win, and I see the women winning, and I don't see that happening for the men. And then also, why are men athletes in soccer like not as good globally?
So as it relates to the pay inequities, so I think what you're getting at is really on the national teams. The U.S. Soccer Federation is the governing body for soccer in the United States. And the fight for pay equity that was led by Megan Rapinoe, who's retiring NWSL player, that granted equal pay for the men's and the women's teams, that's strictly within when they're playing for countries. So that is just fantastic. And that was a huge coup for the women. And like you said, the U.S. women's national team is one of the best in the world. We didn't have a great performance at World Cup this year, but historically, they're one of the best teams ever in the world. And our men's team, to your point, is not, because soccer kind of grew up outside of the United States and has moved this way. So our talent has evolved quite a bit. I mean, MLS is now coming up on 30 years of existence. And there's a lot of youth to pro development or youth organization. We find talent through our youth organization. We develop them to make it to the pro level. That's happening within the MLS as well. They have lower level leagues too that they're developing talent through. So we're trying to get to where Europeans are, but we're still far behind because we don't have the history like they do. And we're also starting to see, this has been happening, that some of our top talent, because the top talent does play overseas, is moving overseas. So you bring in a Messi, which is the opposite move, and look what he's done to MLS this year. I mean, I think he's playing at Charlotte FC this weekend, or this past weekend. It's astronomical what those tickets are going for, just because one incredibly talented European player in the States, and he's kind of turned things around.
So a brief comment, I was just telling you that my daughter's daughter-in-law, I have had season tickets for the last 5 years. And it's a beautifully run organization. It's like the 1947 Yankees now in 2017. It's a great game day experience. Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all that you've been doing with Nancy Burge and Carolyn Mosby. I can't wait. We'll go to the meeting, right, Connie? Yeah. Be up there. We'd like to get your speakers, Rotary mug, and all your service to North Carolina and the team definitely falls under our full weight test, and you'll hear us excited. Thank you again. Thank you for having me. As Francie said, she's gonna send those links to, tickets and we'll make sure that those get sent out to the club. I'm excited, I know my husband's gonna be excited about it, he's a big soccer fan. So be on the lookout for that. Also, please bring a bag of candy next week for our, event on the 28th, and for our service social next Thursday, bring toys for tots. So that could all, everybody prize and repeat the 4-way test after the. And the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Meetings adjourned.